hope you can hear me all right. Testing a new setup tonight, so we'll see how that goes. Look, thank you for coming on tonight. I'm just waiting for young Dan to join. Bear with. Evening, everyone. Hope you can hear me okay. If you can just give me a thumbs up in the chat. Dan, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, man.
Brilliant, fantastic.
Yeah, all
trying
good.
the new mic tonight, so you've got me mic'd up even more than before. Unlucky for you folks. How you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Not too bad. Ticking along. Just had the
Well, that's
cat
not a
in the...
good sign, is it? It's 8 o'clock and he's yawning, so
Oh, mate, it's been one of
it's
those.
going to be a long one tonight. The only thing I've
Finished.
realised is, evening, Jamie. Only thing I've realised is that every time my phone goes off, I'm using it tonight, obviously, to read the poster. It obviously makes a massive vibration. This mic is really sensitive, but I can actually hear myself quite clearly. So fingers crossed it works all right.
You poor
Evening,
sod.
Dougie. Sorry, mate.
You poor sod.
Yeah.
Now you
Never
can
mind.
hear. Now you can hear what all of us have to hear.
Oh no, poor bastards. Anyhow, look, welcome everyone. So this is going to be a regular thing that Dan has come up with. That we want to have a look at the Hobbymaster poster every month and dissect it. I don't think we'll get through every single release because there
We'll
is
just
2,
pick out
4,
a few.
6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23 releases in the June poster, which is, otherwise we'll be here all night. We take 2 hours to do 7 corgi ones, as Jamie will well know. So if I think the thing is really, rather than go through each one by one, I'll just quickly read through the entire poster and we'll pick out the bits that we like and disliking, I guess, in this case. Because obviously there's a couple there that I think for me really do stand out as being a bit iffy. So
I wonder what they are.
Yeah, I wonder what they are. Anyhow, so look, I'll quickly read through them. I've got the poster in my hand. So first up, we've got a MiG-21 of the 115th GIAP Soviet based at Bagram Air Force Base in Afghan in 1980. It looks quite nice. Got another MiG-21, a PFM of the 921st Fighter Regiment Vietnam Air Force in December 1972. So if you've got a Vietnam theme, one for that. Then we're into the FR-5S Tiger Eye of the Royal Singaporean Air Force, I believe, in the 2000s.
Yeah.
And then you've got another one, a Tiger Eye of the Edwards Air Force Base in January 1979. Really nice looking camo on that.
That is a good looking F5.
It is a very good looking aircraft. And this one is a good one. Is this the Hornet? Oh no, is this the Hornet that shot down the F-15s?
Yeah, I think that is the. I mean, they have really not jumped on that one pretty quickly.
Yeah, so this is the F-15 killer, the only aircraft that's ever shot down F-15s in combat, and it shot down 3 in one go. Of the 425th 9th Fighter and Attack Squadron, Kuwait Air Force. Then we've got an F-15C, which is Eleanor, of the 18th Fighter Wing in September 2020. Then we've got a lovely Desert Scheme F-15DJ of the Aggressor Squadron, Japanese JASDF. So Matt Stevenson will be creaming his pants to that one. One I think Gary's just done a very similar one. Is it that one he's done?
Yes, I believe so, which will make him
wonder why they made that.
Incredibly happy.
Yep. Then we've got an S3B, Eyes of the Storm. So from actually Desert Storm in 1991. Then we've got a lovely EA6B Naval Aviation Centennial scheme, absolutely stunning, from 2011 in the blue sort of early
Classics.
Royal US Navy scheme, absolutely stunning. Then we've got another one from Operation Epic Fury, which is VFA-41 from the US Abraham Lincoln, and that's obviously one that's been doing the business out in Iran at the moment, which is a very quick release from Hobbymaster.
Yeah.
We've then got an F-14A Tomcat of the VF-41 Black Aces on the USS Nimitz in 1978.
God,
lovely
I do love a
early looking
70s
scheme
Tomcat.
on that. It's a good looking Tomcat, that. A very good looking Tomcat. Then we've got an Su-27 SK Flanker B. I'm not even going to trying to pronounce the the Russian word there, but it's from Peace in 2018. Then we've got a gorgeous Ukrainian flanker, an Su-27 flanker B, Blue 21 of the Ukrainian Air Force with the JDAM guided bombs. Then we're into the 148 scale. I'll talk about one of the Corsairs shortly when we get into it. We've got an F9F MiG-15 killer, an iconic aircraft flown by Royce Williams, November 52. Then we've got a couple of Corsairs, one of John Glenn, the VMF 155 in China, 1945, which has a personal connection to the page and someone I know, which is an interesting one I'll talk about. Then we've got Captain Philip C. DeLong of VMF 312 of the US Bataan, April 1951. And then we have the Hawk 81 or the P40, early P40, flown by Pappy Boynton of the 1st Pacific Squadron. Seems to be the same pilots over and over again, but again, that's something we can chat about further down the line. Then we've got a couple of what-if schemes to Typhoons, one being number 74 Squadron Tigers and one being number 56 Squadron Firebirds, which has created quite a bit of heat. And then we have an Su-30 Mark 1 of Inchos 2025, and then we've got a V-4B Phantom, a VMFA 323 US Marines 1967, and then a trio of Apaches, two of which are longbows. One is a longbow, apologies. One's Australian Army, two Australian Army and one Royal Netherlands Air Force example. So quite a hefty amount to go through, but I think let's sort of pick the ones that stand out. So Dan, over to you. What would you say be your top three from this poster?
I mean, it's a difficult one because at the minute, everybody knows I'm on a 2 Typhoon hype, and the elephant in the room is the 2 Typhoons. Now, I have read that apparently they have been requested by a distributor within the UK. I don't know who that is.
Possibly Flying Tigers, because they've got obviously the import license, haven't they? Oh, sorry, not Flying Tigers, Tiger Hobby, sorry. My bad.
Yeah, I know Gary mentioned. I've seen it on Model Hanger. Gary's mentioned it, but I don't know whether I read it wrong. It seemed to me that it wasn't him that had requested it. I don't know. I could be wrong. Okay. It's been a long day and I've only just read it. I know good friend Chris Wake. Do you know Chris? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Chris here. He's always on the page.
Yeah, he's had them. I think he's had one already code 3 for him, and one is in the pipeline. So it's interesting that Hobbymaster seem to be, and I get on with William, I think he's great. They produce some stunning models, but I know Gary is absolutely tearing his hair out with, whatever hair he's got. He hasn't got much.
All three of them.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys, if you're watching.
He's got his head on upside down, hasn't he? So.
Yeah. Over a lot of his code 3s being copied as such, you can't really call it that because they're open to the public, the decal sheets and stuff. I know I've tried turning around to him and saying, like, having them copied is a massive form of flattery. To be honest with you, let's face it, Gary does a stunning job of code 3s, but for HM to release these, it's the third what if scheme they've done of a Typhoon. The first one being the Q80 one, which I've actually just ordered today because Flying Tigers took down on a sale and I couldn't say no to it. It's one of the ones I'm missing. So, in regards to these two, I'm going to be honest, I don't get it.
Unless there's something coming up from the Royal Air Force this year who plan to do something with it.
But 74 Squadron and 56 Squadron they're not.
Yeah. They're not active, are they?
They're not active squadrons. So unless they're about to be brought back up to service, I don't know. So yeah, having said that, this is me we're talking about. They're gonna get bought.
Yeah, of course. Look, I think only 300 runs as well, aren't they? So they're a bit of a
they are hit. Quite a limited run for what they are. So I'd quite like to see. There are so many different special tail schemes or special schemes that they could have done before these two. So yeah, that surprises me a bit. Do you want to do the next one?
Yeah. Go on. So the one for
James,
me,
sorry, Jamie's just asked, are they both EE Lightning display schemes? Yeah, they are.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and they did tornadoes as well, didn't they? In them schemes, I think that
Yeah,
was F3s.
F3s.
Yeah,
The thing that surprises me about, sorry, going back to especially the Firebirds one, I understand the Tigers one, 74 Squadron. The code they've used is an actual Typhoon. It's
yeah.
ZK343. I don't understand the Firebirds one. XM
Look,
is a lightning number.
yeah.
Um,
Look, unless there's
so
something coming up, unless there's something going into the museum, because obviously
might be
the old style two seaters. I don't know what's happening with them because obviously they're being decommissioned, aren't they?
Tranche One
So yeah,
stuff.
so
Yeah,
unless they're going, yeah, the transfer. So maybe there's something going to Cosford doing it, or they're doing something at Cosford Air Show. That could be a possibility.
who
Maybe they've
knows?
got a couple there they're going to paint up because they did that
Yeah,
with the Tonka, didn't they? I mean, they painted the desert
yeah,
one
Granby.
and then broke it, didn't they? I think they broke the wing mechanism on it, something like that. And I think they then painted a second one, which was a training airframe at Cosford into that scheme because they broke it so bad they couldn't even get it there.
Can
So
you still hear me, Matt?
yeah, can you find you?
My Instagram's just come up with make a choice about your ads as part of laws in your region. Why have I got to do that now?
Because you know what? Why not? I mean, in the middle of a live, I've got nothing my end, so I'm clear for a minute. So I can take over for a minute if you want me to.
Yeah, I'm just concerned that if it kicks me out, it's gonna. I tell you what, if you can still hear me, I'll just leave it on my screen
Yeah,
because
it's fine. Yeah, we
I
can see you
don't
fine. There's
necessarily.
nothing. There's nothing. There's no ad. There's no
That's sweet.
pornographic images come across your page other than your
They can
face,
be
which
give.
is
They can be give it time.
yeah. So I mean, the one for me that I know we spoke about, obviously the things we don't like, but the one for me that really stands out is the EA-6B, the Naval Aviation Centennial. I think that looks absolutely beautiful. Put that
Mm.
next to. I mean, obviously, I'm a Second World War
You put
collector.
that back to next to a Catalina.
Oh yeah, next to a Catalina or an early Wildcat, or a Devastator, for example,
Mm.
which usually sort of knock around in them early schemes. I think there's even an Avenger that
Yeah,
goes in that early scheme that released relatively recently. I think that looks stunning. That looks absolutely brilliant.
yeah,
I'm also a massive fan of the first MiG-21, and I know the MiG-21's got a lot of issues. It's not accurate for the different types of models that come with it,
yeah,
and I know it's one that's high on the agenda to be done because it's been knocking around for years, isn't it? The MiG-21.
yeah. A long time.
I really like that. I think it looks great. Even the Vietnam one looks great as well. I mean, look, I'm much more fussy now with my selections. I like the Corsairs, but it's a shame in 148 because that just turns me off straight away because I'm just not a 148 guy. Although saying that, it's got a 148 P40 recently, and it's bloody beautiful.
Yeah, I
So
must admit, I went through a 148 stage, and they are nice models. MiG 21. Talking of the MiG 21, did they do? Apologies if I'm wrong. Didn't they? Was that part of the Predators of the Sky series through Corgi?
no, it's a MiG.
What was
Yeah, I
that?
think it was. Yeah, it was 21, was it? Jamie,
Was
help
that
me out here. I think that was a MiG 21, wasn't it?
was that the HM mold or was that a Corgi mold?
It's a HM mold.
That was
So
the
anything
HM
that was
mold.
in Predators, and this is where I got some
That's
clarification,
what
I
I mean.
guess.
We're going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
anything Predators is HM. So
yeah.
the MiG, the Dauntless, the Avenger, the Starfighter,
Mm,
the late Stuka with the cannons.
yeah.
Yeah,
So you're
they
going
did.
back
Yeah,
a
they did three.
long. You're going back a long time.
Mm.
Yeah, very
But
long
yeah,
time.
there's one of the guys who follows me over on YouTube, and of course, a little bit of a plug for you all. If you aren't following us on YouTube, please give us a follow because we can do all the love over there. Even Dan's doing reviews now, so that it'd be. He often goes on about the MiG-21 being high on the agenda to retool, and I don't think it's going to be massive on their agenda on Hobbymasters one because they're still knocking them out. Then clearly they're relatively happy with them. But I'm
Yeah.
just looking at the I mean, phones, which I'm sure will absolutely sell, whether we like them or not. It's a bit like the TSR2 that Corgi did.
You broke up a
The
little bit then on my end. What did you say? The Typhoons?
Yeah, the Typhoons.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Typhoons for me, I think they'll sell.
Oh
That
yeah, I think they will.
300 run, I don't really think is too much of an issue.
Mm.
So I wonder if this is something ahead of the curve that they know that we don't. It just seems a bit weird. It's come out of nowhere, isn't it?
Massively.
And that, it's not as if they've both those squadrons have got a significant anniversary this year because I'm sure that would have been actually on the writing as such. But look, only time to tell. Look, it's 70 quid as well. They're not exactly, the
They're
same.
not. No,
They're cheaper
that's
than
one.
what a corgi would be in terms of that price. A corgi would be about 90.
Yeah, I must
So
admit, that's one thing I must say about, and one of the reasons I've gone a bit crazy with the Typhoons is the fact they are quite cheap. They're not that bad, especially when you get them new.
and I think that what Hobbymaster approved is you can do split runs in one poster
Mm.
because that's not going to cost them any extra money. They're knocking out 600 and just painting in two different colours.
Uh-huh.
90% of it's grey anyhow. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's not as if they can go massively wrong on that. I think that as much as I'm not keen on it, I still think it's an easy bit of money.
Yeah.
They had
And
to
that's what it is at the
re-release.
end of the day. That's what
Yeah,
we talk about all the time with these businesses. It's business.
it's quick cash return, isn't it? It's
If it's
quick cash
printing
return.
money, it's printing money.
Yeah, as long as they're not sending it through the Hormuz Strait. I mean, it might
Well,
be
yeah.
shot. It might be sunk by that Kuwaiti F-18 that the model.
Yeah, I mean, let's have a
We've gone
chat
rogue
about
again.
that. That's pretty quick. I mean, you've got the Q80 F18 and the twin seat, the F as well, the Super Hornet, being released. They are knocking them out pretty quick.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I think it's
Yeah.
decent that they're doing that, and this is something I guess Corgi could learn from. But I think the difference is Corgi share a factory with Hornby, Hobbymaster share a factory with themselves. So
Hmm.
to get things out in but yeah, let's say Sam just said that thing is the TSR2 and the YF23s etc. are feasible. They could have happened, but these seem very bizarre. That's what I mean. We think there's something bigger. There might be something happening
There
that
could be.
they like. They could. The RAF could pull a bit of a curveball on us and maybe put one in a display scheme or something like that, or two of one squadron in them sort of schemes. So yeah,
Mm.
I don't. I'm not massively against it. To be honest with you, I think it's easy money. At the end of the day, every business got to turn a profit, and in
Yeah,
this
100%.
time, it's probably a sensible decision. So what other ones have you looked at in there that really stand out? I know you obviously just mentioned the two F18s, the two seater and the single stick.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you. The way of the world at the minute and the amount of money that isn't floating about in my wallet, I'm kind of just narrowed down to the Typhoons if I get them. I would love that 70s scheme Tomcat is proper up my street.
Yeah, it's quality.
Um,
It's a shame it's in that mould. I know it's going to sound that sounds a really derogatory thing to say because
yeah,
obviously JC have now got the forces,
calibers.
the caliber wings example. I think it's their second release in that tooling, and it is a much far superior mould,
Yeah,
but
it's still a good model.
still a good model. Yeah, it's still a good model.
It's
It's
still a
just got
very good.
it's just not as slick as the caliber, is it? But you
No,
got you're paying another. I don't know how much. Let me have a quick look. I could
the
tell you how
second
much.
the second-hand caliber market is unbelievable on F14s.
Well, they're scarce now, aren't they? They're not as available as they used to be. I'm just
No,
having a look. There's no. I've just had a look at the JC Wings poster to see how much they're retailing for. So
there
it
isn't
doesn't say
any.
there's no
No,
price on it, which is a shame.
no, there's not. But I mean, if they've bought, I'm not in the know of how much that would sort of thing would have cost, but I can't imagine Caliber's Oh shit! What have I done there? I can't imagine Caliber's mold would have been cheap.
No, I think it's only on loan. I
Oh,
would
is it?
imagine, yeah. So I'd imagine Noel gets some sort of return on it. Again, it's not for him to tell us what all the business
No, no,
deals and
no.
that are. I mean, it's his
It's up to
baby in
him.
it, but it's on a return basis. So he wants to do more Tomcats. Well, he can do more with
The thing is, I look at it like if yeah, okay, JC are labeling it as JC.
mm,
Everybody knows that it's a caliber mold, and
of course.
the thing is, how can I put it? You can buy it in a JC box. People are still going to claim that it's a Caliber Wings model.
Yeah, of course.
It's a bit like when I was younger, and I'm going off on a tangent a little bit. When I was younger, I bought a highly modified car. It was already done, and it was infuriating because I took it to car shows and it was always that previous person's car.
Yeah.
Didn't matter who owned it, it was always built by, and people used to refer to it as his car. And it was like, no, it's my car. And they went, no, sorry, mate, it won't be your car. And I do see the same sort of thing through that. I think it's great that it's
Yeah.
being used.
Yep.
That and, sorry, I'm skipping forward a little bit. On the JC page regarding the F16. JCW Extreme. Now I'm guessing that's the Caliber F16 mold.
It is indeed. It is indeed being modelled as a bit like the what's it? Is it the A6 that they did? The Prowler, sorry, the Prowler they did.
Yeah,
Which is I think it's a ball lake to put together, but the detail around it is about
is it good?
what I
Yeah,
want them.
I've not seen one in person, but
Oh,
so
it's
that'll be
incredible.
an interesting one. Sorry, I skipped ahead then to JC, but yeah. So Tomcat, um, I can fully appreciate the Japanese schemes.
Yeah, that's stunning. Obviously, seeing Gary's
Yeah.
incredible, and also a massive ball lake to do the decals on it.
Oh, mate. And he sends me them photos, all them stencils. I'm like,
Nah, not for me.
I'm all right for that. I tell you what is quite nice to see, and it's of no interest to me in the slightest. But it's nice to see that F9F mold being used again.
Yeah, it's quality. That's a credible model.
Mm.
Panther's a lovely model, really is.
Big old beast that is.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's obviously the first real sort of US naval jet fighter, wasn't it? It was
Mm-hmm.
is it the bridge over Toko Ri the Panther's in? And again, somebody who might be able to.
Not a clue.
Yeah, it's 1950s film about the Korean War. Really, really
Okay.
good. Really, really good film. It's a bit like I guess it's a bit like Devotion, but
That's a good film.
yeah, incredible film, and one obviously highly recommended if you love Bearcats and Corsairs and Sky Raiders. But yeah, it's a bit like an early version of Devotion, but with the
Okay.
Panther. Yeah, well worth checking that out. I can't remember who's in it. I mean, it's quite a good cast, if I remember rightly. Trying to think, is it Mickey DeLenz or I know who's the guy?
You've fully shown your age, mate.
No, I can't think of the name of the guy. He's a little Irish guy who flies a helicopter. I won't spoil it for anybody who watches it, but he's quite a famous actor, and the name escapes me now. But Mickey Rooney, maybe? Is it Mickey Rooney? I don't know. Look, and help me out here, folks. Anybody who's watching, let me know. But yeah, I think it's a great model. I think I've got a couple of them. I've got a white one and a blue one in the collection at home for now. But it's I can't remember when the last one was out. I mean, it must have been some time now. But yeah, it's
A
a
long
really
time
good
ago.
model.
Yeah, a long time ago.
80 quid. 80 quid. So yeah, interesting. Very interesting. But
What else we got? I mean, I'll tell you what is a nice game. Sorry, I'm waffling on. I'll tell you what is a nice game, and I've still got my original one up in the cabinet up there. The Ukrainian flanker.
yeah, that's class.
You can't digital camo. Oh,
Yeah, it's a beauty. It's an absolute beauty, and I guess anybody who goes to React will be interested in that as well, because obviously pre-war it was a regular attender or something very similar was a regular
something
attender.
in that similar scheme.
That
That
vein,
looks
yeah.
like it. That one looks like it would be a wartime one. Potentially one that's been shut down, but
Yeah, and yeah, one obviously I just want to briefly talk about 148 isn't really my scale, but a few people who watch like some of the airshow pages over on Facebook will know a guy called Lance Kuhn, and Lance used to go flying Legends every year. Lance and his wife Lowry, lovely people. He worked over here for some time, but he ended up moving back to Texas, and I think he's moved up to Chicago or Michigan now. And he obviously see the Corsair, and just a little family link. It's basically the one from 1951, so the one of Captain Philip C. DeLong of VMF 312 on the USS Bataan. Basically, Lance's dad used to do the parachutes, wrap the parachutes for the pilots, so he would have had, obviously a relationship with the pilot Captain DeLong. So I think that's a nice thing for Lance to do. I know Lance lost his dad a few years back now. So I think it's a nice one for him to go after. And obviously I don't think he's a huge diecast collector, Lance, nowadays, but he still collects them. And I think that for him would be a lovely little sort of family link to have, and again for to pass it down to his kids and to their kids and so forth. I think that's lovely when you hear little stories like that, especially with someone as well. So I don't know whether Lance has approached Hobbymaster or whether it's just pure coincidence that they've released it. But that's a lovely touch, and that made me sort of prick my ears up a little bit to see that. So, but I think that's to be fair, the 148 Corsair is a lovely model.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure if it's accurate with the 4-blade, whether they've actually got a separate tool in to the earlier aircraft or not. I mean, again, any Corsair experts out there might be able to tell me that. I suspect, like the Corgi, is probably one they've just hatched a 4-blade prop onto the front of, which is
Well,
a shame. But
the one you're talking about looks like it's got 3-blade.
yeah, it does look like it's got 3 blades. But if that's Korean, I would imagine that would be a later Corsair. I couldn't imagine there
Okay.
being a 3-blade still being in service at that point, because obviously the 4-blade we had the stronger engine. But again, I might be wrong. So don't quote me on that. I mean, I'm not a Corsair expert by any means, but
No.
looking at what Corgi do, they just literally hoik on a 4-blade prop onto a 3-blade prop airframe and sort of go
Hope for
with
that.
it. Yeah, I think that's what Legion did as well. So if anybody's seen the Legion review I did recently, they did exactly the same. Had the shorter engine hub and just stuck a 4-blader on it, which I get why they're doing it, because is anyone really going to know that? Only the real Corsair lovers out there will know really what's going on. But I think actually looking at this, I'm just looking at this now, it's actually quite an interesting poster when you get into the detail on it. The P40 is wearing me up because it always seems to be the same pilot. So I might be wrong that maybe Boynton's aircraft hasn't been done before, but it just feels like it's the same people over and over again. There might be
Yeah.
again, someone correct me if I am wrong now. I just wish they'd be a bit more creative. There's some really lovely early P40 Hawk schemes out there, whether it be, for example, the Fighter Collection one at Duxford, the all silver one. Why not use that? It's an early P40. No one's done it apart from Gary's done me one in Code 3, which was absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
And I think also the early Hawks, some of them had some quite what's the word, artistic schemes on them as well. Certainly the Curtis Hawk fighters did. I'm not entirely sure around the P40s, but there could be some really interesting schemes out there. Early RAF, early South African Air Force desert aircraft. There's so many more schemes than it just seems like, well, let's do a Flying Tiger, let's do an RAF desert one.
Mm-hmm.
Or that it just seems, or let's do a Pearl Harbor one. That always seems to be the same old over and over again.
It does, but it takes you back to that conversation about printing money, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. And they must sell.
It's,
They must sell.
I agree.
Again,
I completely agree with you. I'd love to see some variation, even if it's in regards to the P40. It's not necessarily something I would get. I can appreciate it, but yeah, it's I do agree with you. Some variation would be great. Um, yeah,
but yeah,
but
no,
then
looking for it. I think
there's
it's a
us
great.
moaning about. Sorry, mate, carry on.
I was just saying, I think it's a good post actually. When you look into the detail, it's actually all right. It's got a bit of. I mean, the fact that they deviated away from 172 World War Two pisses me off, because that's my mate. But it's not all about me, is it? So, from the jet point of view, if you like grey jets, boring grey jets, no. If you like jets, then it's got a decent sort of spread from
Yeah,
sort of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s to 2000s.
I'll be honest. I can't remember. There may have been one poster from HM from Hobbymaster in the last 12 months where I've looked at it and gone, there's nothing on there for me. I think there's probably, well, judging by the pre-orders I've got coming in over the next month or so, there's probably been, yeah, 11 months worth of posters come in where I've gone, yeah, I'll pre-order that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's something for me. Yeah, that's something for me. Um, which, for somebody who I'm not the biggest collector anymore, what's that, Merlin? Okay, I'll be there in a second. Sorry, the cat's just walked. I've had to take him vets tonight, so he's a bit pissed off.
but just sitting there, just staring at you like,
He's meowing. Oh God. Um, Bear with me. Yeah. For somebody who's not a massive collector anymore, to be able to still get me to look at it and go, "There's at least one model on there that I want." I think they do all right.
yeah. I think it's look. I mean, like I said, this is Gary sent me a message before we did this and said, like, you're going to be talking about Jets. I can't wait to watch this. Yeah, cheers, Gal. Until I'm hopelessly out of my depth because it isn't my. It's not my
Mark, just give me
collective.
2 seconds, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm just
it's all
going to
right.
have to get
No
let him
worries.
out. 2 seconds.
No worries. But yeah, like Jets aren't really my thing. So World War II, absolutely fine with. But this is getting out of the comfort zone. But I'm thinking, looking at this, this is an output that Corgi would produce in a year, and to do it all in one poster is a pretty phenomenal effort. And I can't see a lot dumping on there either. I think there's some really, really interesting schemes. You've got Gulf War covered, you've got Centennial schemes, you've got obviously the current war that's going on right now in terms of Epic Fury. You've got some variety. You've got Indian Air Force in there, which I'm sure someone like Dwayne will be over the moon with, because it's an up and coming market in India in terms of diecast, and of course it's only over the border in Bangladesh where it's been built. So you look in terms of costs and tariffs, it's a quick win, and so you'll be able to get it almost at like sort of production price as such. But I think overall it's really, really good. But I said, it'd be interesting to see if anything does come of these Eurofighter Typhoons. I do wonder if there's a bigger picture there that we don't know about, and they've just been tipped off ahead of time to produce. And also, of course, this will due. I stress the word due in June 2026, dependent, of course, on how the war in Iran goes, whether prices change and stuff like that, because diesel and petrol have gone for the bloody roof. I'm sure you're appreciating around the world right now. It's going to coincide with air show season. June is also RAF Cosford air show. Am I onto something? I don't know. Maybe I am. I'm talking to myself. Why am I talking to myself? I don't know. But it does make me wonder whether there's a bigger picture there. But we shall see.
Yeah, it does. I'd be interested to see. Sorry,
You've got another one. You've got another
no,
cat.
it's the same cat, but he's a bit poorly at the minute, shall we say?
Oh dear.
He basically can't shit.
Oh, poor. We've all been there, mate.
So he's
Don't worry, I'll have a chat with him.
Yeah, he's a bit blocked up, bless him. So
Oh,
he's
no,
been
it's
to
not
the
nice.
vets. Yeah, he's been threatened with an enema in the morning. So
you better get that bowel movement in.
anyway, enough about the cat. Yeah, I don't really know the Apaches.
Yeah, I mean, no, but saying that, if you're Australian, it's
Great! You all of a sudden you've had
of course, yeah. And the Aussie, and this is the beauty of it all. When you look, there's something for everybody around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got Asian schemes, you've got Middle Eastern schemes, you've got American schemes, Indian, you've got Singapore, Russian,
Soviet,
Ukrainian. Yeah. It's like a United Nations of diecast.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that. That.
You do tend to find that with every HM poster, which is quite nice.
Yeah, I think that's one of the beauties. So obviously, Corgi, Luftwaffe, US, UK. That's it. That's pretty much it. I mean, you get the occasional curveball like the Italian Messerschmitt and that, but this is a real international affair. And I think from that point of view, there must be a market there.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be. So
yeah, I certainly think they do all right.
I mean, like, it's the first real time, in all honesty, because I'm not a jet guy, I'll scoot over it, look at the World War II, and then just sort of move on from there. And occasionally get the odd Typhoon, or I've not got a Tornado yet, which is mad because the Hobbymaster Tornado has come on leaps and bounds.
I'll be honest, that's one thing I've not got either. I haven't got a HM Tornado. I'm kind of waiting for them to do the first one I want is the 617 Special Tail.
Yeah. Mesa not done that yet.
If and when they do it. They've not actually... What was the last Tornado? They had one on the last poster, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it was an Italian Desert Storm one, wasn't there? I believe.
Yeah.
Or was it the second part of Desert Storm, whatever that was called?
Yeah. Yeah, it's again, it's a good poster. It is a good poster. Look at you mug. What you got? Vodka?
Only lemon vodka. Lemon vodka? No, lemon barley, I should say. The drink of the elderly.
Nice.
And Wimbledon. So, I love it. I can't get enough of it.
Shall we have a quick chat about JC and Oxford?
Let's do it. Yeah. So, JC, for those who don't know, are now knocking out a few caliber spin-offs. So I'll run through the 7 that are released. I've shared them on the Instagram stories to have a look. So we've got another F-14D Tomcat, this time a VF2, the Bounty Hunters, a USS Constellation, the last cruise in 2003. We've got an F-15E Strike Eagle, the 335th Fighter Squadron, Operation Enduring Freedom, 2012. You then got a rather colourful digital camo FA-18C Hornet of the VFA 113 Stingers of the USS Carl Vinson, 2011. Really nice looking scheme. Then you got another fitter, which was originally a Caliber model, but was then sold to JC. So that is an Su-22 M4 Fitter K of the Iraqi Air Force, 1989. So that's pre-Desert Storm. You then got the new style JC Wings Extreme, which is debuting the Caliber Wings mould F-16C Fighting Falcon, and this one's of the US Air Force Air National Guard, 174th Fighter Wing, 138th Fighter Squadron, Operation Enduring Freedom, 2003. Then we've got another F-15E Eagle of the 492nd Fighter Squadron, Operation Inherent Resolve, 2020. And then we've got another Hornet, an FA-18C Hornet of the USAV, VFA-81, the Sunliners, USS Saratoga, Desert Storm, 1991. Some really nice looking schemes there, actually, to be fair. To be fair to them. I mean, the F-15, F-18, it's not great, is it? Their mould, and that's not me being disrespectful. It's the old witty one, I believe, isn't it?
Yes, which is okay. Like you said, it's not the best. HM certainly will the to me the F-18 mould, but they've been a bit, and I'm surprised they've not done any more. They did. Oh, help me out, Mark. The first of the when they came back to Lakenheath and the other nose art. Oh, what was it?
Oh, the ones that are all painted on when they come back from the desert.
Yeah, so that they've been a little bit slow in releasing the rest of them, and it looks like JC have jumped on that and gone. You know what? We'll, and that is one of them releases.
Yeah.
So fair play for jumping
Was that
on
Inherent
that.
Resolve?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe somebody. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because we don't really give legitimate information on here. We just sometimes make it up as we go along.
Shit and enjoy it. Yeah.
So yeah, I've fair play for jumping on that bandwagon. And filling that gap. I'd be honest.
The Lakenheath bird, which
and it's
always
Lakenheath,
sells.
Yeah. And jump over to the Tomcat. I don't get it. I get it's a Caliber Wings mould. I get that they want to promo it with a nice, bright scheme. But that bounty hunting scheme's already been done. And it would take a lot for people to take the Hobbymaster one out of their collection, which is still worth a fair chunk, to replace it with that.
Yeah.
It will have to be absolutely perfect for anybody to even contemplate it, and it worries me that it won't be.
But it's because it's obviously the one thing that's got it going for it is a Caliber Wings mould, which is a superior tooling. However, we've seen a lot of this with Hobbymaster recently, especially like with Thunderbirds, the F4 Thunderbird scheme. They're finding they're now rehashing the previous ones, which obviously devalues the original release. So you could have got like 250 quid for an F4 Thunderbird first release. Now, they're not flooded. They're certainly not flooded. I think I did 500 of them, but that's diluted that.
So massively.
In some respects, I mean, it could sell, but only time will tell, won't it? I mean, I don't know what sort of releases JC Wings release. It's got to be between 300 and 500. I can't see them producing more than that.
No.
Because there's just not the market for them on their side. Maybe something like the Fitter will have a bigger it's run, because it's a one-off model. It's the only one on the market, and dare I say, it's a very good model as well, the SU-22. It was designed by Noel, and again, I think it was perfected by JC Wings, if we go by what Noel said on the video when he was on with us.
Okay.
But that's a great looking model. I guess that would have served in the Iran-Iraq war if it's a 1989 scheme. So it's probably a warbird in that sense.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're bad. I think this is, in terms of their releases, what I've seen JC do.
Yeah.
I think this is a pretty strong set. I'd be interested to see what the Extreme JC Wings Extreme is going to be like. How they package it all up. It's a wooden box, a bit like
Yeah.
the B58 and stuff like that, because that's sort of
That'd be smart.
set the precedent now, isn't it? If you're going to do something a little bit different,
If you're gonna have a uh, what's the word? An absolutely perfect product that you are wanting to release, like a the absolute pinnacle, top of the range model. You're gonna want it in some sort of specialist box, stuff like that. Then I mean, I've seen people with that B58 go, "I'm not taking it out of the box. It's staying in the box." I bet.
I've met Gary, so you know, those he won't come on. Bless him, he's shy. But I met Gary at North Weald last week for a cup of tea,
Mm,
and he handed me it, and it's the first time I've ever shit myself holding a die-cast model. I'm like, Gary, you need to take it back. I don't want to hold it because I was terrified because the cost and how beautiful. I didn't want to finger mark on there or anything like that because it is an amazing piece of die-cast. It is
yeah,
mind-bogglingly good.
yeah.
And I'm gutted
Fair.
I never got one, but I'm also glad I didn't spend 300 quid as well. So it's one of them things I ain't got
Yeah,
300 quid
there's
to spend on
the
it, but it is a gorgeous bit of die cast. It's the real, it's now the bar. That's the bar.
100%.
It's got not just from here, it's gone like up here now. It's,
Yeah,
he has created a bit of a rod for his own back, Noel, to be fair. But as I've seen the second release, I was privy to an image which unfortunately I'm not allowed to share. And I
yeah,
tell you what, it is absolutely incredible. So
really. Yeah,
I think it's a better looking scheme personally, but each to their own and all that. But I think it's amazing. So
nice.
we'll
Yeah,
see how that goes.
look
But
forward to that. Talking to schemes, my favourite scheme on there, and it ain't one for me. I won't get it because, no disrespect towards JC Wings, I don't like their F18s. But that Stingers scheme is proper popping.
oh yes, unreal. That is absolutely unreal.
Yeah, that
Um,
is a great
it's
looking.
mental, and to see how. But I think the key is looking at a picture and looking at the actual product will be that's again the litmus test in it, what it looks
Hmm.
like if we get to see a pre-pro or something like that. But that looks incredible. It looks really
I'm
different.
waiting for the day, and it's been too common over the last little while where a pre-pro, not just through JC, it's through all of them, through Corgi, through HM, through Caliber, through JC. The pre-pro is perfect.
Yeah,
There's ever so slight adjustments needed, but
wrong
the
colours, wrong
colours,
placement. Yeah,
yeah, but the colours on a lot of stuff I've seen have been absolutely spot on. And then the final product gets released, and you get a glimpse of a photo, and you're like, "What have you done? Why have
Polish
you?"
F16 would be a prime example of that. I think.
I was just about to go on to Slab's F16, which
What
personally
what is all
I'm
that about? Why have they
a
gone to the
lit.
dark grey?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've seen some comments from people saying just tape up the canopy or take the canopy off and just pop it in the sunlight for over the summer and let it fade. But I mean, the pre-pros of that before they put the CFTs on are absolutely perfect. And
But I think the difference is the pre-pro. I don't think is necessarily painted by the factory in a run. I think it's probably painted individually. I
a
think that's
one-off
where they get But Corgi have done that, and they many times. Now, what was the example of the colour they used?
five
I
five
think,
eight.
yeah, 558. There was another one more recently where they produced it. The pre-pro was decent, and then the actual release was questionable, and I can't think what colour it was.
I
It
can't
might have been one.
remember.
It might have been the Hurricane. I know it sounds a weird one to say. So the US pilot's Hurricane. Forget his name now. Billy Fisk. Um, is
Okay.
Hurricane. I think the pre-pro was really good, and then the actual model was wrong. The brown weren't the same
Yeah.
as the Spitfire. The Barda Spitfire was spot on, and then the Hurricane was just a bit leery, but still
Yeah.
nice. It's still nice. It's
I
only
mean, don't get me
gradual. It's only
wrong. They're
subtle,
all
but at that scale, subtle is
yeah.
massive. If that makes any sense.
They're all guilty of it. I think. I guess it's more one of those things with mass production, but yeah, it's quite frustrating. Um, yeah, not too bad. I don't mind them. One thing does frustrate me is there's no prices.
Yeah, that pisses me off as
Don't
well.
get that.
No, and I guess I guess they probably don't know how much it's really going to cost. Maybe that's part. That sounds a mental thing to say right now, but it
Yeah.
is literally stick it in the air and see what happens. As long as Mr. Trump don't decide to bomb their factories for no
Well,
apparent
yeah, that's
reason.
true. That is very, very true.
He got upset about the colours on the F-15E and decided to.
Obliterate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's going on to Oxford. That's one thing I am quite impressed about is the fact that an Oxford Hurricane, which we know isn't as it's not up there with the quality of Corgi, it's 23 quid, Mark.
But I also think it's going to be a new mould because I don't think they can just strap cannons onto the existing Hurricane what they've got.
No,
So the
which
Hurricanes they got is a Mark One standard flat wing.
yeah,
So they're going to have to do something different here. So part of me says it's going to be a newer style model. I might be
right,
wrong. It'll be their first new aviation model in about 5 years,
yeah,
which would be interesting. They might just sellotape some cannons on the front of it, but it's definitely got cannons because when you zoom in, you can see the cannon markings. But as long as it's got cannons, that's the key thing. You know, if it's produced as a Mark One without the cannons, then it's going to be incredibly tough. But look, I've been going through my videos on YouTube recently and sort of resharing them on a daily basis. Some of the older stuff I covered, and one of the ones I did was on Oxford.
yeah,
And their blue box range, and it hasn't been released in 5 years, believe it or not, is
right,
absolutely sensational. Like it's 30 quid a model. You've got your Ansons, your Rapides, your Devon Doves,
yeah,
all sorts of the dragons and stuff like that. Incredible value. And the Oxford of all things. But I mean, hopefully it is a new mould, and they're
uh,
going to get back into
yeah.
producing models. There's only two. There's another one is an ME 163, and the scheme looks quite interesting actually. It's a very late war 1945 aircraft, White 14 of JG 400 of the pilot Brandis in 45. It's a nice looking scheme.
I mean,
It's
if they pull that paint scheme off, that would be better than any other brand has managed to
well,
produce
this
with
is
Motlin.
look, this is an interesting. It's an interesting thing. So there's two releases of the ME 163s. There's one obviously with the swastika and one
Yeah,
without for European customers, which I think is a nice thing to do because obviously we know the um, restrictions in Europe in terms of what they are and aren't allowed to produce,
mm,
which is good. I think that's really good and that's different. So who is it who used the blue? I think it was Dragon who used a blue sticker over the swastika to get away with that in Europe, which I thought was quite interesting, like a circular sticker. Um, but that's quite intensive if you have to do each and every one. But if you're starting this hobby, you can't go far wrong with Oxford. You really
no,
can't. There's some really interesting bits in there
yeah,
in terms of what they produce and at the price point as well, like your Ixos or tires, your Atlas editions. And they're not going to be perfect. Like
no,
the part work models, not going to be perfect. But if you've got a little bit of talent with the airbrush, um, or you've got a little bit of talent with brushes in general, even perfect code free fodder to start with eventually, but it can't go wrong with Oxford. They're a great little company, and now they're free.
If you're spending 23 quid on a Hurricane there, which is stonking cheap, I
And
don't
that's
get
from Oxford's. That's direct from Oxford, so you might get
mm,
it cheaper
cheaper. You
at
probably get it
Supply and
under
your
20 quid
Jumblies or
somewhere.
something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it. You're spending that on that. I'm spending money on a Typhoon. The Typhoon, the McRoberts fighter, the 6th Squadron one. The colour's completely wrong on it, and
Yeah.
that is 3 times the price. It doesn't matter whether you're spending 75 quid or under 20 quid. The chances are there's still going to be issues,
But I think diecast is like
which is
wine. It is,
frustrating to say.
yeah. No,
It just,
diecast is like a bottle of wine, Dan. It really is. You could spend 200 quid on a vintage 1983 Merlot or whatever, or you can spend 4 quid on a bottle of Merlot at a Lidl.
yeah,
And if you like it, you
you
like it,
like
right?
it.
And if you're happy with it, and especially if like, I think the thing for me with Oxford, if I'm talking to say Rafe, who's 12 now, and he goes, "Dad, I want to start collecting models," that's where I'll start him because if he breaks
100%.
it, he hasn't broke a £70
Hmm.
limited edition Hobbymaster Typhoon. he's broken the 20 quid Oxford Hurricane. And look, even if you're thinking of someone like Joey, like, he wants to run round and making plane noises or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
That it's a great starting point to get kids into aircraft. They go to an air show, they go, "Oh, Dad, what's that? Oh, well, that's actually a Hurricane. Look, that's on the stall there. Do you want that?" It's a great little way to get in it. So, look, I've always been a big fan of Oxford. Eloise and Taff are great people as well, which you like to see businesses do well. Obviously, the aircraft side's a very, very small portion of what they do. They're more about cars and I guess trains to a lesser extent, but they're good people, great little business. They're now free of Corgi's shackles as well. So, and of course, in a bit of a new direction because Eloise is now in charge of Oxford after Taff unfortunately got ill. But he's doing well by all accounts, which is great to hear. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I've been hassling about it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that Hurricane scheme BBMF?
It is the BBMF.
It is BBMF.
Yeah.
It's a good choice.
It's a very good choice, and they've got ahead of Corgi for it. Which Corgi haven't released a Mark II or 4 in quite a while now. So they've used the noggin. Oh, and the Mark, I think the last
Wayland?
Mark II was the Wayland one, yeah, which is the Southeast Asian Command one, which must have been 2015, 2016. But the way they're doing things now, it's got to be on the agenda soon. I would have thought, again, they've done the Confederate Air Force partnership. BBMF have a different scheme every year.
Yeah.
It's easy money. It really is. And you could, Mark Long Trust, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more. Brilliant opportunity to tag it with that, and
they've got an absolutely lovely Mark 9 mould there that they could quite easily do an MK356. But
yeah, absolutely, and the Mark 5 is obviously coming as well, so they could do AB 910.
But on the flip side of that, is the Spitfire that, and I apologise if I'm speaking out of turn, but is the Spitfire that he crashed and passed away in the model that should be done?
I think
it's a difficult
one. If I be really honest with you, in terms of pecking order, probably it's up there, but it's not the most important. I think MH1234 has not been done, which is madness to me. They've not done a standard camo Mark 9 yet.
No.
Of the 4 releases I think I've done. So I've done JJ, Desert, Johnny Horton. Oh shit, 3 releases then, yeah? The Mark 9. So yeah, I've only done 3 releases. So I don't know. Look, I would like to see it done. I'd like to see it with something to the Mark Long Trust or something involved. If it's £1 for the 1,000 that's produced, there's £1,000 towards them. And something little like that could be big. But you could also do it as an unlimited edition where the BBMF can then sell it on their road stalls when they go to the air shows. So, I mean, look, it's what people want, really, isn't it? So, but they've just done the Colin Gray one, haven't they? So, no, I don't know. It's always a tricky one, and it's always tricky. You're darned if you do, darned if you don't. But I think they should do more with the BBMF because they're a national treasure. Now, happy to do a Red Arrow every year, pretty much. Why are we not doing something with the BBMF? We've got a new scheme coming out, obviously, but it's already been done. I think it's still going strong. I think it's going to be the new scheme. But AB 910, lovely looking scheme of the Winnipeg Squadron, the Canadian Squadron. So that would look nice next to EP 120 as well. But there's again Mark 5s. There's so many different Mark 5s they can do. There's lots to come. They've got the new 19 scheme that I did a code 3 off. They haven't done that yet, and I don't know. Like, where do you stop? You can't do it all in one go, can you? Dakota, again, got that already. So I'm the real winner there. But but I think overall, it's a decent catalogue all round. There's a lot of selection there. That's just free producers we're talking of. Forces of Valor have got some bits coming soon as well. So speaking to Vincent, there's a few bits coming down the line with that. I mean, I'll get confirmation as and when, and I've asked him to come on, but he's too shy to come on, but he's offered to send some potential samples our way to have a look online. So I'm sure we can review them as well, which would be good.
Sweet. Yeah, absolutely.
But before we wrap up, Dan, just a little bit of announcement for everybody who's watching or who's tuned in tonight. So thank you for following. Really appreciate it. what we're going to plan on do now is keep Instagram to photos and the small shorts videos, and then YouTube the longer videos on there. Of course, Wings Monthly will stay on Instagram because it will be shared here and then copied and put onto YouTube. But we have got a lot coming up on Wings Monthly. So next Saturday, which I believe is the 3rd of April, I am going to be interviewing at 4 o'clock in the afternoon Todd from Gemini Jets in Las Vegas, direct from the shop. He's very kindly agreed to come up. I'm also looking to a YouTube live with our mates Renee and Chris over the Dutch Diecast Collector and Heavy Metal Diecast, and that will be done actually on YouTube as well, which will be our first YouTube live. But we will keep Wings Monthly here. This is its home, and it will stay. But future guests on Wings Monthly. So I've spoken to Stephen Stead. For anybody who knows, he follows Warbirds. Stephen owns a P51 Mustang, which he bases out in Poland. And he has offered to come on and talk about his experiences flying not just the Mustang, but the Spitfire 9, or Spitfire 16, in fact, which is now basically Biggin Hill TE 184. And the Yak 3 and his flying experiences. So he's offered to come on very, very shortly, which is lovely. I'll get a date firmed up for him. James, or Jim Butt, as he's more commonly known at Old Walden, he's going to come on and talk about the airshow season there, which is shaping up to be an absolute classic. I've spoken to Elliot at the Vintage Aviation Echo. He's offered to come on. Hopefully Harry and Hugh, his counterparts from the magazine, will come on as well. So the Vintage Aviation Echo will be out this summer, late spring, early summer, and be the third part of that. And if you haven't got the first two, what the hell are you doing with your life? The best aviation publication out there in print, without doubt. They've offered to come on. I've got Kieran, who is a BBMF engineer. He's offered to come on as well and talk about the BBMF. And finally, Matt, who you may remember, who was based at North Weald, is now working at Biggin Hill Aviation Heritage Hangar. Hopefully we can get him and Alex on together at some point, which will be a Spitfire special in the year of Spitfire 90. These are just some that are lined up. Obviously, I've got to get the plan in place as to when they're going to be there. We will do this every month, talk about the Hobbymaster poster. I'm sure we'll make it slicker to around about half an hour or so, because obviously this one's had JC Wings on as well. But we do want you guys to come on as well. So if you are watching and you want to join in and have a little opinion on some of the releases, then we are more than happy to have you on. It's great to listen to for the collectors as well. But there's a hell of a lot going up on here. So we are keeping busy, as are the reviews as well. The reviews are flying out. For all the longer reviews, please go over to our YouTube channel, which is DWC Diecast Wings Collectors. We need all the support we can over there to try and keep it moving on, because it's a tough gig, YouTube. It doesn't seem to grow like Instagram. But we're doing lots of bits and pieces over there, including top fives every week on a Sunday, which is a new feature which I'm trying to do in the top of the pop style. Apparently dressing up as Jimmy Savile might be a bit too much for that. Yeah, so I won't be doing that.
I'm waiting to hear back from 4 potential interviews. But Mark, I've not even told you about yet. One I might have, but there's 3 that I haven't, so I'll fill you in after. But I'm not saying anything until
you get it in. Yeah,
until I've got it in writing. But we're working behind the scenes to get some aviation household names on.
And that's fantastic. So look, there's so much going on. We've really reinvigorated our love for DWC. This never went away, but I mean we're trying to do it a little bit more properly. Hence the microphone, the backdrop, the shirt, which Dan will hopefully get soon when Gary delivers
Fingers
it
crossed.
to him, including a number of other different pieces of merchandise which I've made. As the other half has just joined, as Sarah's just joined, she sent me a picture tonight of sitting in the DWC hoodie. So I've even got a fangirl player.
Nice.
I get. Does that make her a groupie? I don't know. I mean, that might sound a bit wrong, referring to Sarah as a groupie, but
possibly.
Yeah. But look, no, the plan is obviously I'll be wearing these about at air shows in the summer as well. So if you do see me, come and have a chat, because I love chatting about planes. It's sad, I know, but there's a few of us. There are a few of us out there. So, but look, really, really lots going on. But look, thank you for everybody joining tonight. Really enjoyed it as always. Dan, thank you so much. I hope the cat's all right, mate.
Yeah, I'm going to go and check on him now.
You don't need an expensive cat bill alongside your car bill, do you? Cause,
no.
Yeah.
No, I don't. No, I don't need any of it, to be honest with you, but such is life. Right, I love you and leave you, dude.
Right, lovely. Cheers, guys. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll stick this on YouTube, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.